Get ready for The Splash Live, Greater West Bloomfield's dedicated update show. Events, businesses, and people. Anything and anyone causing a ripple in the community. And now, let's dive in to The Splash Live.
Hello and welcome back to The Splash Live, Greater West Bloomfield's live daily news and talk show where we go into the latest stories that are close to home in West Bloomfield, Keego Harbor, Orchard Lake Village, and Sylvan Lake, all throughout your work week. I'm your host, Tyler Kieft, and thank you for joining us as you do all throughout the week on Comcast, Channel 15, and on AT&T, Channel 99. You can also find us on the web. CivicCenterTV.com is our website with links to all of our on-demand and live programming as well as our social media. And speaking of that social media, you can also join us on your Facebook feed each and every day, Facebook.com at Civic Center TV 15, as well as on YouTube at Civic Center TV. And as you're out and about on this Wednesday in Greater West Bloomfield, tune in to The Splash Live and all of our other original programming on 89.3 Lakes FM with a live stream also on lakesfm.com. It's been a cloudy and a windy and a rainy day, windy week here in the Greater West Bloomfield area. That is going to continue on Wednesday and all the way through the rest of this week. Today's forecast, high of 35 with a low of 31. It is going to be windy, especially after 11 a.m. Those winds really pick up as the morning goes on and really through much of the early to mid-afternoon. Winds upwards of 20 miles per hour. So if you're outside, be aware, try to be as keen-footed as possible, as those winds could be quite severe at certain times. It's also a good idea to be aware and be prepared for the potential of some intermittent power outages or debris on the roads as a result of the high winds. We know this time of the year with all the dead branches that are out there, with kind of the unseasonably warm fall that we had and the relatively low amount of snow we've had that has forced those branches down to the ground. We could see some of that happening today with these high winds and those power outages, especially if you're in a problem area of our community. You may want to be ready with some flashlights, some batteries, and some non-perishable foods in case you do need to go to that sort of an operation in your home or in your office today and through the rest of the week. Just be aware of that. Thursday, much of the same, high of 34, low of 30 across the Greater West Bloomfield area. Cloudy all throughout the day with some lighter winds, but they still pack a little bit of a punch, upwards of about 8 miles per hour at their highs, but going to still be a relatively cool day outside. 34 high, 30 is the low. Then on Friday, 34 is both your high and your low in the forecast. The winds come back, as does the rain and the snow. It kind of held back for a day. Yesterday's forecast had that rain and snow returning on Thursday. Now it's been pushed forward to Friday. So morning will be cloudy with winds between 10 and 20 miles per hour. It'll kind of go and bounce between being closer to 10 miles per hour in that 10 to 12 mile per hour range to being within that 15 to 20 mile per hour range as the morning goes on. The rain and snow mix will clog up your afternoon commute home. Right around 5 o'clock is when we see the thick of that rain and snow mix come into play, and that will persist all throughout the afternoon and the evening. A 75% chance of rain throughout our local area at about 5 p.m. expected on Friday. Wind upwards of 20 miles per hour. That rain-snow mix will move in just a light amount of rain later on in the evening, right around 11 p.m. and continue into Saturday morning. We'll keep you updated on the latest weather forecast throughout the Greater West Bloomfield community each and every day this week on The Splash Live, so stick with us. There's plenty making headlines all across the local area. A few months ago, a story broke about the potential for the demolition of a beloved center of fun nearby our community over in Farmington Hills. At the moment, the plans to demolish the strip mall at 14 Mile Road on Orchard Lake that includes Marvin's Marvelous Mechanical Museum is being put on hold by the Farmington Hills City Council. We'll give you more information on that and an update on that story coming up in just a little bit. West Bloomfield's United basketball team fell in a close matchup in a special environment on Tuesday this week. We'll take you through that story, give you a little bit of details on the game, and show you some pictures of their special matchup in our local area. Warm up with a good cozy winter book at the West Bloomfield Township Public Library. Their winter reading kickoff is just a few days away, happening over the weekend. We'll give you details on their special kickoff event and how you can participate in that over the weekend. Plus, we'll have information on how you can help yourself get informed and prepare for the 2024 election season. The primary is just a little bit over a month away in the state of Michigan. The presidential primary in February, the House and Senate primaries in August. What do you need to know about the many different ways that you can vote and how that affects our elections, how votes are counted, the safety and the freeness and the fairness of our elections? We'll have information on a special virtual seminar featuring our West Bloomfield Township Clerk, Debbie Binder, coming up in just a little bit. The West Bloomfield Township Public Library is reminding local residents of upcoming closures of its main branch. They were closed on Tuesday. We'll have a few more either delayed or closed days in the next coming weeks, and over the next couple of months we'll give you information on each and every one of those dates so that you can mark your calendar if you're a frequent patron of the main library branch, so you can be aware of the days that you may not be able to go there during your select time of the day. We'll also have information on how next week we'll be participating in a special event with the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce, introducing new leaders in our business community at their annual board installation breakfast. Stay with us for more information on that, as well as information on a special event happening this weekend at West Bloomfield Middle School. United We Walk is back for its milestone 30th event. We'll give you details on that, plus who has this event ranked as one of their top Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day events in all of metropolitan Detroit. The West Bloomfield Education Foundation recently donated several maker kits to local elementary schools in the West Bloomfield School District, including Gretchko Elementary School. We'll tell you a little bit about how that worked out at Gretchko and ways that you can support the West Bloomfield Education Foundation as they donate these educational tools and other resources to the community through their Casino Night fundraiser coming up in just a few weeks at the beginning of the month of February. Later on in the program, we'll talk with Jen Teal, the principal at Gretchko Elementary School, as the school district gets ready for Kindergarten Roundup just a couple weeks away. We'll get you the details on what you parents can learn at Kindergarten Roundup about the West Bloomfield School District and opportunities to meet and greet with officials that are running these schools and even some of your kids' future classmates and their families. The West Bloomfield Township Public Library has introduced its new Tween Services Coordinator. We'll introduce you to this new individual on the team at the West Bloomfield Public Library. Plus, the West Bloomfield Fire Department is encouraging that you test your smoke detectors and your carbon monoxide alarms after responding to a fire this morning. We'll give you details on that fire. There's some good news in terms of the response from that fire, and give you a reminder from the fire department on some safety tips you can employ in your home right now to help keep you safe in the case of a fire. Plus, other details and information on important programs and services in the Greater West Bloomfield area and throughout Oakland County. We're keeping your news close to home on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. Stay with us. The Splash Live will continue next.
We'll be right back with The Splash Live. Want to enjoy Civic Center TV on your social media? Find us on Instagram at Civic Center TV. Get notified when we upload one of our interviews, full episodes, and more. Thank you for watching and listening to Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
Last week, Brandon met a girl on a dating app. One day after work, he finally found the courage to ask her out. No answer. He started to panic. Was he being too pushy? Maybe it was too...
Hey, sorry I didn't respond. I was driving. I would love to go on a date. How does tonight sound?
Brandon tried to play it cool, but inside he knew. A girl so smart, so responsible. She must be a keeper.
Martin Luther King Jr.'s dream lives on with United We Walk, an event that celebrates Dr. King Jr.'s birthday by embracing unity, diversity, and acceptance. Volunteer, participate, or donate to bolster our community. For more information, go to unitedwewalk.org. Show your support Sunday, January 13th, 2024, from 1 to 3 p.m. at the West Bloomfield Middle School. Find local municipal meetings at our program schedule on civiccentertv.com. Find when your meetings air live or when they're replaying on our Civic Center TV live stream. Find it all at civiccentertv.com and click schedule at the top of the screen. And now, back to The Splash, live.
Welcome back to The Splash Live, Greater West Bloomfield's live daily news and talk show, keeping your local stories close to home in Kieft Harbor, Orchard Lake Village, Sylvan Lake, and West Bloomfield Township. I'm your host, Tyler Kieft. I encourage you to keep up to date with us and follow along with us in your social media feeds, Facebook at Civic Center TV 15 and YouTube at Civic Center TV. You can also find us on Twitter and on Instagram as well, with our handle still also being Civic Center TV. Some news out of nearby Farmington Hills that, of course, affects our families here in the Greater West Bloomfield area, especially families that have, for in some cases, generations, been enjoying weekends or evenings having fun at Marvin's Marvelous Mechanical Museum. Back in November, a big story broke in our local area here in Oakland County about the potential of Marvin's closing as the facility they have been in for decades, facing demolition after a developer submitted new plans to the Farmington Hills Planning Department to redevelop the site in what's called a planned unit development. That was unanimously approved for recommendation of approval to the City Council back in November, and the City Council did have an initial hearing about that shortly after, and more recently, the story has been updated per WDIV-TV Local 4, as well as other newspaper and other reliable outlets throughout the Metro Detroit area. The Farmington Hills City Council has decided to put this redevelopment plan on hold as it considers further details about this project and considers the impact that closing this strip mall, demolishing this strip mall, including the location of Marvin's Marvelous Mechanical Museum, could have on the community. For now, that means Marvin will continue to be a staple of local fun, games, and oddities, and will continue to operate in its current location. Previously, with the impending, at the time, demolition approval going through the city government, it was considered by the owners of Marvin's Marvelous Mechanical Museum the potential for them either moving or shuttering their doors altogether after decades of service. Now that may be delayed a little bit longer, that decision has some more time to develop and to grow as they continue through this process. The Planning Commission voted unanimously back in November to recommend approval of the plan to City Council. How this works is a planning commission in these communities, when they get planned unit developments, they go through all the details, they help to refine those plans with developers, come to an agreement, and then ultimately they will be voting on recommending approval, not approving the plans themselves, but recommending to their local city council that they approve these planned unit developments. These special plans have to be approved by local city councils, and at this time, Farmington Hills' City Council electing to put this on hold. At the time of the passing of the recommendation for approval, the City of Farmington Hills released the following statement saying, quote, as Commission Chair, this is a different quote on your screen, Calvin, by the way. As Commission Chairperson Dale Countigan and Attorney Tom Schultz clarified during last night's meeting, at that point it was Thursday, November 16th, 2023, the city does not have the ability during the plan review process to dictate specific tenancy of any commercial property in the city. This is a private contractual relationship between private entities, end quote. So while this seems, by the way, that this story has been how we've discussed it in articles from other local news outlets, that it may seem like this is that the delay in deciding on this case from the City Council is related to Marvin's tenancy. There are some other issues that are involved that the city wants to review and perhaps wants to have more time to get to understand and ask the questions to these developers. This is pretty common when it comes to planning commissions, when it comes to planned unit developments in cities. We see this all the time. We broadcast a lot of these meetings in West Bloomfield, Kieft Harbor, and Sylvan Lake, and their planning commissions as well. So this is all common practice with planning commissions, with city councils, but at this time, those plans are on hold for the moment in Farmington Hills. Back in November, when this story first broke and the potential for Marvin's closing after decades upon decades of service, having being opened by Marvin Yagoda back in the 1980s, a Change.org petition was opened and had a goal of 75,000 signees. Since that November date, they have over 50,000, well over 51,000 signatures on that change.org petition. We'll continue to keep you updated on this story as more information develops over time and decisions are made by the Farmington Hills city government on this matter. Of course, it affects our families in the greater West Bloomfield area. Farmington Hills, one of our immediate neighbors, and Marvin's has been a staple for generations. I grew up in the community, and my family had taken me to Marvin's as a kid multiple times, and I know that many other families in the local area, both in our greater West Bloomfield communities and Farmington Hills, and many other communities here in Oakland County have loved going to that location for many years. That being said, change is necessary, change happens, and change is going to happen in all of our communities, and so all the more reason to keep updated on stories like this and get involved by tuning into your municipal meetings, by participating in your municipal meetings, so you can be updated on the exact specifics of what's going on, and a lot of these are broadcast in communities all throughout our local area, including here on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM, with meetings for West Bloomfield Township, the cities of Keego Harbor and Sylvan Lake, and the West Bloomfield School District. We also broadcast replays of the Oakland County Board of Commissioners meetings monthly as well. Downtown in Detroit, a special event yesterday in a matchup between the Clarkston Wolves and the West Bloomfield Lakers United basketball teams at Little Caesars Arena. It was a close game all throughout. Eric Pierce, the athletic director at West Bloomfield High School, posting photos and videos of the two teams going up against each other on the Pistons' home court in downtown Detroit. And it was a thrilling game, ultimately a loss for the West Bloomfield Lakers, but a very close matchup. 34-36 was the final score. And this is a really cool thing. We've broadcast one of their games over the past couple of years. Last year they had a night where they were dedicating a coach's Hall of Fame spot for a longtime football and basketball coach way back in the day at West Bloomfield High School. We had broadcast all of their games that night, from JV, the varsity, and even to the United team. This is a really cool effort because the United team is both general ed and special education students coming together on one team in the full capacity. It's co-ed, so both boys and girls are on this team. Everyone's working together. They learn teamwork. They get to have fun. They get to exercise, and they get to play a really fun game of basketball. As you see on your screen here, all these students working on their shooting, working on their fundamentals. Even West Bloomfield Lakers girls varsity stars Summer and India Davis participating on this team. Not uncommon. We've seen stars in other varsity sports join these teams. We've had some football players and other basketball players in years past on this squad. You can keep up to date with the West Bloomfield United basketball team and all of our other sports in a couple different places. WestBloomfieldAthletics.com is the website to get more information on upcoming games, updates on final scores, and information on signing your kids up, or your kids yourself signing up for these sports and tryouts each and every season. Another great follow for more pictures and more videos and more details through all these sports is athletic director Eric Pierce. You can follow him on Twitter or X at TheRealEPAP for more information, video, pictures. Really cool story from downtown Detroit, right back here in Oakland County and in greater West Bloomfield. Just next door to us at the West Bloomfield Township Public Library, they are set to kick off winter reading season this Saturday at the main library branch. Their winter reading kickoff is happening from 10 a.m. until 1 p.m. on Saturday this week at the West Bloomfield Township Public Library, all happening in the Youth Activity Center with snow-themed craft projects and a special visit from Elsa and Olaf happening from 10 a.m. until 11:30. Then enjoy a winter-themed movie, a showing of Frozen at 11:30. Maybe even Elsa and Olaf will stick around for a showing of their movie in the main library's meeting room. And you can sign up for winter reading. Much like summer reading, a special kickoff, a nice party, fun for the entire family, and even some prizes available. As you sign up, you get your special reward for signing up for winter reading and learn more information on the kind of competition that goes in to reading during the winter season. This is for kids of all ages. No registration is required, but you can learn more information on the winter reading kickoff and all other reading efforts all throughout the year from the West Bloomfield Library, either on their website at wblib.org or by following them on Facebook at West Bloom LIB. Facebook.com/WestBloom LIB, to follow with the West Bloomfield Township Public Library. We'll take a break on the Splash Live. On the other side, we'll be prepared for upcoming elections and information you need to know on the different ways that you can vote, how that affects tabulating the votes for these elections, and how all these changes work at the local, county, and state level, with a special seminar coming up on Thursday. We'll give you more details on that, as well as information on upcoming closures at the West Bloomfield Township Public Library as they do renovations, and we'll introduce you to some leaders in the business community and preview a special event with the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce. Stay with us. More news that's close to home up next on the Splash Live.
We'll be right back with the Splash Live. Want to enjoy Civic Center TV on your social media? Follow us on Twitter, Civic Center TV. Get notified when we upload one of our interviews, full episodes, and more. For watching and listening to Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take a break and tune in to the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. Join Tyler as he goes to headlines and events, updating you on the day-to-day happenings in Oakland County. Catch us live weekdays 8:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Watch us on demand at civiccentertv.com. Or watch us on TV at Comcast Channel 15 or AT&T at Channel 99. This is Civic Center TV 89.3 Lakes FM. On cable and radio. On the web too, and on social media. Civic Center TV, television that's close to home. And now, back to the Splash Live.
Welcome back to the Splash Live, Greater West Bloomfield's live daily news and talk show, keeping your local stories close to home in your news each and every day on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I'm Tyler Kieft, and thank you for joining us. More information, keep up to date, find us on demand, and share our videos at civiccentertv.com. It's tough to believe, as we're only a few days into the new year, we're getting closer and closer to the primary elections. Yes, the presidential primary coming up in late February here across the state of Michigan. And with that, it's time to start getting ready to go to the polls and vote, or vote at home, or submit your ballots by absentee vote as well. There's so many different ways now that are legal for us to vote in the state of Michigan and have our voices heard, whether we're able to go to the polls on election day or not. So many different options, and with that, a lot of misinformation, disinformation, and frankly, just confusion out in the ether at this time about our elections here in the Great Lakes state. That's why three of our best election officials across the state, our most knowledgeable people in the state of Michigan, are holding a virtual seminar in partnership with the National Council of Jewish Women in Michigan on Thursday evening this week. A free virtual seminar over Zoom, 7 o'clock on Thursday, January 11th. We'll have three key panelists of overseeing elections locally, countywide, and statewide in Michigan. West Bloomfield Township Clerk Debbie Binder will be one of our panelists, one of the panelists on that meeting, unaffiliated with us at Civic Center TV. Sorry for saying R. As well as Oakland County Clerk Lisa Brown and Michigan Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson, who will be co-hosting this event. They will talk about new regulations and voting options that are available per Proposal 2 of 2022, which was approved by a public referendum on the ballot back in that year. That provides a greater expansion for voting, voter registration on the same day. You can vote in person either at your polls, or you can vote and fill out a ballot early. You can vote by absentee without having any specific rationale behind why you're you're voting by absentee ballot. There's so many different ways that you can vote nowadays. Make sure that you have your voices heard. But with that also, there's certain details that you have to understand. There's certain ways that you have to go about voting one way versus the other. If you're going to vote early, if you're going to vote by absentee ballot, there are certain steps you have to take to get a ballot and then to submit a ballot. If you want to change your ballot, maybe some information changes before the primary election and the candidate or candidates you were going to vote for are no longer going to be in the race and you got to change your votes. How do you go about doing that? How do you spoil the ballot you've already submitted and vote a second time, this time with that ballot counting and the one that you submitted the first time around being eliminated from the polls? And how does that work? There's so many different things you can think about when it comes to these elections. All the more reason to get your questions answered and have your voice be heard with our election officials in this free Zoom seminar. On your screen on CivicCenterTV.com, there is a QR code at the bottom right of that flyer that you can scan, and they'll take you to register for this event, so you get a Zoom link in your email inbox or in your text message inbox, and you can participate and listen to Clerk Binder, Clerk Brown, and Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson as they talk about these issues at the local, state, federal, and county level as well on Thursday night. 7 o'clock Zoom meeting on Thursday night. Again, scan that QR code on your screen as we speak on Civic Center TV and CivicCenterTV.com. You can also call the National Council of Jewish Women of Michigan's office for more information and registration at 248-355-3300, which is also listed on this flyer currently on your screen. A great way to get involved and learn more information about our elections and all your different options for voting, whether or not you like to go to the polls like I do. I like to go to the actual polls, fill out the ballot at the polling location that I am assigned on election day. But there are other options too. Things happen, life happens. Sometimes you got to just get your vote in by any means necessary, and all the more reason to learn about what options are available to you in 2024. The West Bloomfield Library was closed on Tuesday for its main branch right next door to us on Walnut Lake Road. Those closures will continue periodically over the next couple of months and even over the next couple of weeks. While the main branch is reopened for full operations today and throughout the rest of this week, another closure is impending next week Wednesday, at least a partial closure. They will be open late next week Wednesday, January 17th. Opening from 1 p.m. until 9 p.m. instead of the regular hours. That will happen again the next Thursday after that. Thursday, January 23rd, also will have hours of 1 p.m. until 9 p.m. Tuesday, February 6th, and Tuesday, March 12th, the main branch of the library will be closed altogether, much like it was on Tuesday of this week, yesterday. So certain services will be unavailable throughout the library system on that day, on those days, because of these services. And while the main library branch will be closed, these closures or delayed hours will not impact the West Acres branch. So still plenty of ways to get the services you need or enjoy a quiet, calm environment to do your reading, do some work, do some studying, or just hang out in a calm environment like the library at the West Acres branch. You can learn more information on these closures as well as get access to all their electronic services and web services by visiting their website at wblib.org, and keep up to date with the West Bloomfield Township Public Library on Facebook at West Bloomfield LIB. Just a little over a week away from a very exciting time for the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce as they say goodbye to 2023 and bring in the new year in style at their board installation breakfast. They'll be introducing new members of the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce, welcoming them to our business community in West Bloomfield, Keego Harbor, Orchard Lake Village, and Sylvan Lake, and introducing their new board leadership. A new president, vice president, treasurer, and so on will be introduced, and everyone joining the board or joining the board leadership will be formally sworn in by 48th District Court Judge Diane DiAugustini. Now, yes, this is not a formal swearing in, not a legal swearing in. It is ceremonial, but it's important for our community too. Our Chamber of Commerce does great work in our four communities to connect our businesses, to help them advance forward in uncertain economic times and even in certain economic times and keep our business community thriving. So we invite you to either join us at West Bloomfield Parks Connect beginning at about 8 o'clock in the morning on Friday, January 19th. Tickets are still available to attend the event through the West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce on their website at westbloomfieldchamber.com. And if you're unable to attend, you can join us for a special live broadcast, a special edition of the Splash Live beginning at about 8 a.m. on Friday, January 19th. We'll have the full board installation breakfast ceremony, plus some interviews and more discussion with business leaders in our community. Stay with us and find more information. Keep up to date with it on our social media, Facebook at Civic Center TV 15 and on CivicCenterTV.com. Another special event coming up this weekend is United We Walk, celebrating the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. here in the greater West Bloomfield community. And this is the landmark 30th year that they have done this. 30th event formal for United We Walk. Sometimes in between over the past several decades, there have been either delays in the event or cancellations. You think about the COVID-19 pandemic, but they're back again in person this year and celebrating their 30th United We Walk event in style. With some throwbacks to the past, we'll hear from some past leaders in the greater West Bloomfield community and in the West Bloomfield School District, as well as from students and other leaders in civil rights, diversity, equity, and inclusion, and more as they celebrate the life and the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. The formal ceremony will happen about 1 p.m. at West Bloomfield Middle School. The walk will start about 1:30 going north on Orchard Lake Road toward Walnut Lake, and then turn back around from Walnut Lake and head back to West Bloomfield Middle School, where service projects will go on from about 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock at the middle school in a variety of different capacities. So much you can learn, so much you can experience, and of course to celebrate the life, the legacy, and the impact of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. here in greater West Bloomfield and across the U.S. and around the world. You can find more information on United We Walk, including how you can participate in planning future events, including next year's 31st United We Walk, by visiting wbsd.org, scrolling over their community tab, and selecting United We Walk, or keep up to date on their Facebook page at West Bloomfield Schools. We'll take a break on the Splash Live. More stories from across the greater West Bloomfield, keeping your local news close to home on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. The Splash Live continues next.
We'll be right back with the Splash Live. Find local municipal meetings at our program schedule on CivicCenterTV.com. Find when your meetings air live or when they're replaying on our Civic Center TV live stream. Find it all at CivicCenterTV.com and click Schedule at the top of the screen.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Martin Luther King Jr.'s dream lives on with United We Walk, an event that celebrates Dr. King Jr.'s birthday by embracing unity, diversity, and acceptance. Volunteer, participate, or donate to bolster our community. For more information, go to unitedwewalk.org. Show your support Sunday, January 14th, 2024, from 1 to 3 p.m. at the West Bloomfield Middle School. Missed one of our live broadcasts or one of your local municipal meetings? Check it out online at CivicCenterTV.com. Every meeting, show, and interview on demand. Thank you for watching and listening to Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. And now, back to the Splash Live.
Welcome back to the Splash Live, Greater West Bloomfield's live daily news and talk show, keeping your local news close to home in the Greater West Bloomfield area all throughout your work week. Stay with us for more information on CivicCenterTV.com and follow our social media to keep us in your feed each and every day. Facebook at Civic Center TV 15 and on Twitter, Instagram, and on YouTube at Civic Center TV. In the West Bloomfield School District, an emphasis on STEAM education. Science, technology, engineering, arts, and math has been a key focal point over the last several years, with new resources from bond dollars, from donations, from the West Bloomfield Education Foundation, and more have been put into additional resources and play materials for kids young and old in the school district to enhance their learning experience. And that includes at Gretchko Elementary School. Recently, some pictures posted by the West Bloomfield School District about students at Gretchko using what are called maker tools, maker supplies for creativity, ingenuity, resourcefulness, and productive playtime. Here you're seeing some students, looks like they're building a tower. We saw other students engaging in some creativity as they were reading books with these supplies. And this helps to enhance their learning experience, taking what they get out of the formal classroom time where they're sitting at a desk and listening to their teacher lecture, or they're working on projects with other students, and taking that playtime, that free time they have in the classroom, using these tools to be able to engage with them, to be resourceful, to be creative, to try new things, and to have that freedom of mind to engage in learning in a way that's informal and it isn't that one-to-one lecture to the classroom style that maybe you and I grew up learning in. So all these cool tools coming into schools across the greater West Bloomfield community through the West Bloomfield School District. These tools donated to Gretchko from funding from the West Bloomfield Education Foundation. And that's just some of the resources that they're providing to our kids in individual classrooms, to our teachers, and to the West Bloomfield School District community. You have a chance to help them continue that mission throughout 2024 and beyond. Their annual fundraiser, also a big night of fun in our local community. It's coming up on Friday, February 2nd at Glen Oaks Golf Club in Farmington Hills. Tickets are currently on sale for $45 at WBEF.org. This will be happening throughout that night on Friday, February 2nd, a fun night out with a silent auction, raffles, casino games, bingo, food, dancing, music, and so much more. All of that goes to benefit the West Bloomfield Educational Foundation. It is a nonprofit organization that helps to provide resources for innovative programs, helping to strengthen the curriculum, training opportunities for staff and faculty members and educators to enhance their lesson plans and enhance their approaches to teaching kids in our classrooms at elementary, middle, high school, and beyond each and every year, and promotes community awareness about school district programs. We think about fun activities for the entire community, like Family Fun Night every fall. There's, of course, a football game, usually against a high-caliber opponent like a Clarkston or Rochester Adams or someone like that for our football team. That brings a lot of people in, but also introduces them to the Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society, to the Community Coalition, our police and our fire and our EMS, the military, and so many other organizations and resources available in our communities. And that all stems from the West Bloomfield Education Foundation. So if you want to have a fun night at Casino Night while also supporting a good cause, $45 tickets are available. Scan the QR code on your screen on CivicCenterTV.com, or you can also find more information from the West Bloomfield Educational Foundation on their website, WBEF.org, or on Facebook at West Bloomfield Ed Foundation. We'll take a break on the Splash Live. On the other side, we'll continue to dive into stories affecting West Bloomfield, Keego Harbor, Orchard Lake Village, and Sylvan Lake, looking into upcoming events, special projects, information you need on the education front, on the community organization front. We'll learn about some new people on the team at the West Bloomfield Township Public Library and explore more news even outside the greater West Bloomfield area and into Oakland County. Stay with us. The Splash Live continues after this short break.
We'll be right back with the Splash Live. Want to enjoy Civic Center TV on your social media? Find us on Instagram at Civic Center TV. Get notified when we upload one of our interviews, full episodes, and more. Thank you for watching and listening to Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
When you have a gambling problem, you have a money problem. Don't let your gambling cause you financial hardship. If you or someone you love is struggling with gambling, we can help. Get free confidential counseling and win your life back. Learn more at michigan.gov/problemgambling.
Take a break and tune in to the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. Join Tyler Kieft as he goes through headlines and events, updating you on the day-to-day happenings in Oakland County. Catch us live weekdays 8:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Watch us on demand at civiccentertv.com. Or watch us on TV at Comcast Channel 15 or AT&T at Channel 99. Missed one of our live broadcasts or one of your local municipal meetings? Check it out online at civiccentertv.com. Every meeting, show, and interview on demand. Thank you for watching and listening to Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. And now, back to the Splash Live.
Welcome back to the Splash Live, Greater West Bloomfield's live daily news and talk show, going into the latest details and information on services here in the Greater West Bloomfield community. I'm Tyler Kieft. We thank you for joining us on Civic Center TV, 89.3 Lakes FM each and every day. You can always find more information on our website on civiccentertv.com and on 89.3 Lakes FM. Find us on Facebook Facebook at Civic Center TV 15, and also find us on YouTube at Civic Center TV. You can follow us also on Twitter and Instagram for updates if you miss any of our programs or when we put out information on special programs. We can also get you that information on our social media. So stories that are currently ongoing in our local community, or we have a new Tween Services Coordinator joining the team at the West Bloomfield Township Public Library. Patricia Ballard is the newly named Tween Services Coordinator at the West Bloomfield Township Public Library. She's joining after decades of experience, 2 decades of experience as a public librarian in the Metro Detroit area. She wrote in a statement on the library's Facebook page that was quoted, quote, "My favorite part of my work is meeting new people and forging relationships with all the wonderful library users and potential new library users in the library, out in the schools, and in the community. I'm a big fan of fantasy, Lord of the Rings, science fiction, almost anything but big expanse and Star Wars, but a big Expanse and Star Wars fan, and coming-of-age fiction. I'm really looking forward to working in the community and library that my daughter grew up with." You can find more information on wblib.org or on Facebook at West Bloomfield LIB for even more information on the new Tween Services Coordinator and all the Tween services available throughout the Greater West Bloomfield community. The library serving West Bloomfield, Keego Harbor, Orchard Lake Village, and the city of Sylvan Lake. And also all students in the West Bloomfield School District have access to those library resources as well. So all the more reason to check them out on their website, wblib.org. This morning, a story out of West Bloomfield, the West Bloomfield Fire Department responding to a fire early in the morning, about 3:30 a.m. In a basement fire near Maple and Halstead, as multiple fire stations from the West Bloomfield Fire Department were on scene to respond to this fire. There were 8 occupants in the home that were asleep at the time of the fire. All 8 and their pets were able to safely escape from their burning home, all because of their working smoke detectors. The alarms went off and they were woken up, and they quickly escaped their home uninjured, unharmed, and the fire department was able to extinguish the fire quite quickly after arriving on scene. And so with that, the fire department encouraging you here in our community to make sure that your smoke detectors are up to date. If you need to get new smoke detectors or replace the batteries, you should do that pretty often. The smoke detectors, they say every few years, those should be updated and those should be replaced. But the batteries, anytime you're switching the clocks, when you fall back and spring forward, a good time to replace those batteries. It's also a good time also when you're replacing those, or now as you're thinking about smoke detectors, to also think about carbon monoxide alarms, as that is the silent killer in our homes. And those alarms, by the time that they're going off, you're right about the point where you need to get out of your home immediately. And if you're not there and you come back around, or you don't have those alarms, you're not, of course, going to be alarmed to carbon monoxide, and it's going to take its effect before you even know it. So plenty more safety information about fire safety in your home and resources and information all throughout the year being posted by the West Bloomfield Fire Department, facebook.com at West Bloomfield Fire Department, WB Fire Department on Facebook for even more information. We'll take a break on the Splash Live. On the other side, more stories from West Bloomfield, Kego Harbor, Orchard Lake Village, and Sylvan Lake, and all across Oakland County. The Splash Live will be right back.
We'll be right back with the Splash Live. Want to enjoy Civic Center TV on your social media? Follow us on Twitter at Civic Center TV. Get notified when we upload one of our interviews, full episodes, and more. Thank you for watching and listening to Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
I'm an ex-drug dealer, and I'll be your sub today. Two milligrams of fentanyl can be lethal. A lethal dose is in here. Who gets it, I won't know.
It's cheap, it's potent, and it's profitable.
The sad reality is, fentanyl is being mixed into everything now.
More kids should know.
A fresh start lets you refocus, helping you live in the moment, where you can take the lead or take a bow, basking in the glitz and the glow of winter. Because when the snow begins to fall, you feel the excitement rise. Set your sights on a winter wonderland as Fresh finds new ways forward in pure Michigan.
Martin Luther King Jr.'s dream lives on with United We Walk, an event that celebrates Dr. King Jr.'s birthday by embracing unity, diversity, and acceptance. Volunteer, participate, or donate to bolster our community. For more information, go to unitedwewalk.org. Show your support Sunday, January 14th, 2024, from 1 to 3 p.m. at the West Bloomfield Middle School. Missed one of our live broadcasts or one of your local municipal meetings? Check it out online at civiccentertv.com. Every meeting, show, and interview on demand. Thank you for watching and listening to Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. And now, back to the Splash Live.
Welcome back to the Splash Live, taking your local news closer to home in West Bloomfield, Kego Harbor, Orchard Lake Village, and Sylvan Lake. I'm Tyler Kieft, and thank you for joining us all throughout your work week. Find more times that we're airing each and every day by visiting our new program calendar on civiccentertv.com. And of course, we're always on demand there as well. Plus, follow us on social media, Facebook at Civic Center TV 15 and YouTube at Civic Center TV, where you can also watch us live each and every day that we're broadcasting this show. We're into the second semester in the West Bloomfield School District in the 2023-2024 academic year, which means for parents, it's time to start thinking about next school year, including those that are going to be bringing their kids into the West Bloomfield School District and into their K-12 education for the first time. Kindergarten Roundup is coming up at the end of January, Wednesday, January 24th at West Bloomfield Middle School for prospective parents and students to learn more about kindergarten programs in the West Bloomfield School District and get introduced to some of their school officials, their teachers, and some other families joining them on this educational journey. Joining us now to talk about Kindergarten Roundup is Jen Teal, who is the principal of Gretchko Elementary School. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thanks so much for having me. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning to you, and thanks for joining us on the program. Kindergarten Roundup is an important event for parents and for students alike, and even for the educators, really everybody involved in the K-12 journey. That journey often starts for the majority of these students and these families that are with the school district all throughout at Kindergarten Roundup. So we know it's happening Wednesday, January 24th, 6:30 p.m. Is when the door opening and registration will begin at West Bloomfield Middle School. But what exactly is Kindergarten Roundup? What resources are available there?
This is a great evening. We're really excited to host. It's a district-wide event, and the goal is really to welcome in all of our new and returning families, whether it's a family who has an oldest child who is a kindergartner and they're starting the school experience for the first time, or perhaps they are ending their family's journey with a kindergartner at the end. And it's an evening where we're really trying to make sure that we give families the information that we know that they kind of want this time of year. So we will have tables out front, kind of in an open house style, where families can walk around and talk to people, everything from transportation and food services, learn a little bit about some of the different programs we have in the buildings. Our parent-teacher organizations will be represented that evening, as well as before and after care, and some of those details that parents are often wondering about. And then we'll be inviting families into the auditoria at the middle school so that we can tell them a little bit about what to expect for kindergarten, what that process looks like, tell them a little bit about our curriculum, and then also give them some hints on some things that they can work on to help their kiddo get ready for kindergarten between now and next August and September when we start a new school year.
So Jen, is this required for parents or for students to attend in order to get into the K through 12 program next year on time?
It does not. I will say that it's very helpful. We will have registration on site so that families, if you just bring your driver's license, you can start the registration process. If you're a resident in the West Bloomfield School District, you can start your registration right that night, which is really convenient. Life is so busy and there's so much going on. It's a nice opportunity to just kind of get things rolling. All of our enrollment process does happen online, and we understand some families may not be able to make it, and they can certainly go through that process through the WBSD website instead. But it's a great place to get to know some of the other families with incoming kindergartners and get the information and questions answered that families may have as they begin that process.
You can find more information on Kindergarten Roundup on WBSD.org or by following the West Bloomfield School District on Facebook at West Bloomfield Schools. Joining us on the is Jen Teal, the principal of Gretchko Elementary School, as we get ready for Kindergarten Roundup for the 2024-2025 academic year. That will be Wednesday, January 24th at West Bloomfield Middle School, located at 6000 Orchard Lake Road in West Bloomfield Township. The registration for the event and initial mixer will be at 6:30, with the details in a presentation in the auditorium beginning right around 7 o'clock p.m. Again, more information on WBSD.org. And Jen, you mentioned all the important resources and suggestions and an opportunity to meet the teachers and the principals that parents have by attending Kindergarten Roundup. What benefits are there for the kids also being there on Roundup night?
For students that evening, for families who want to bring their kids with, we will have childcare. That evening is definitely an adult structured evening, but we're going to have some fabulous National Junior Honor Society and National Honor Society students from our middle and high school providing some childcare in the media center over at the middle school that evening for families who need to bring their kiddos along. And then later in the spring, families will get to look forward to bringing their student to their local elementary school that they are zoned for, and they'll have a chance for their child and for them to see the school at that time. But we understand that there will probably be a handful of kiddos that evening getting to hang out in what will be their middle school one day. So they'll get a nice sneak peek at the fabulous new West Bloomfield Middle School, as well as a chance to meet a couple of other friends who may be attending the same school that they attend.
And Jen, you've been working in elementary education in the West Bloomfield School District for a short period of time, but you've been in education in our local area for a number of years. So you've experienced this before. So from an educator's standpoint, how beneficial is it to meet these parents and these kids kind of in advance before they're coming in to start their educational journey? How can that benefit our educators next fall, meeting these parents on Wednesday, January 24th?
It's a great question. One of the biggest and most important things that we do is partner with families, especially in those elementary years. Our kiddos are spending a lot of time at school every day, and so having those really positive and exciting relationships with families is a big part of the success of our students. And I think one of the key parts and the benefits of attending the kindergarten experience on the 24th will be that parents kind of have an understanding of what to expect, and that they can then help their child get ready for those kindergarten expectations. For so many kiddos, there are a little bit of nerves around kindergarten. They're not quite sure what it's going to be like. And I think it helps when an adult in the family kind of knows what's going to happen and what to expect, and they can help make that a really smooth transition and already begin building some of those relationships and having those familiar faces, so that on that first day of school, when they arrive, there's a face that they recognize and a smile that they've seen before, so that we can get kiddos off to a terrific start for the school year.
And what other opportunities beyond the Kindergarten Roundup, you sort of touched on this a little bit earlier, are available in the coming months as we approach August? Because this is a big night. It's still several months away from when registration begins to get down to the wire in the school district, and certainly several months away from when these kids will be starting their kindergarten journeys. But what other opportunities are available, especially if parents and kids are not able to attend in January?
There are two opportunities, really. The main one that we'll focus on is in May. Each of our elementary schools will be providing an opportunity where we will invite in each of our kindergarten students for what we call a kindergarten screener, just so that we can get to know each child a little bit, understand what previous school experiences they might have had, some of the things that they love to do, and what makes them each a unique individual. And at that time, families will be able to join for a tour of the building, so that they also get to see their local elementary school, if perhaps this is a first kiddo coming through the West Bloomfield School District, and they'll get to see the building. And if for some reason that doesn't work, or if families want to reach out, they are always welcome to reach out to their local school main office, and they can request a tour if they would like to do that, and have a chance to see the school and meet the principal and kind of see the school in working order. We're looking forward to those screener dates in May being when school is in session, so that families and kids will get a sense of the hustle and bustle that makes school exciting when kids are present.
More information can be found on getting in contact with each of our local elementary schools in the West Bloomfield School District by visiting WBSD.org. That's also a great place to go to find more information on Kindergarten Roundup. In addition, you can find more resources, information, and special events upcoming in the West Bloomfield School District on their Facebook page at West Bloomfield Schools. Joining us to talk about Kindergarten Roundup and these upcoming programs in the West Bloomfield School District is Jen Teal, the principal of Gretchko Elementary School on the Splash Live. Jen, as we wrap up, anything else that we should know about this Kindergarten Roundup event that we haven't touched on, or other important information or potential questions that parents should maybe come to this event ready to get answered or ready to ask of our educators and our other officials from the school district?
I think probably the only thing I would add is it's helpful to just think ahead of time about what your situation will be like in the fall. So thinking about whether you might need before and after care for your child, starting to think about whether your child is going to be riding a bus or whether they might walk to school with you. Those kinds of details can be helpful so that you are able to ask those questions when you are on site with people who can help. And like I said, we really want to encourage people to bring their identification, their driver's license, so that they can start that registration process right away and get into our system. There will be our enrollment office staff on site so that we can begin that process and start making those great connections with our families.
More information can be found on Kindergarten Roundup on WBSD.org. Once again, Wednesday, January 24th, 6:30 p.m. for some information and initial sign-up to get into the event, get your information to the school district, and then the presentation at 7 o'clock. 6000 Orchard Lake Road at the West Bloomfield Middle School. Jen, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks so much for having me.
More information also available on the Facebook page of the West Bloomfield School District at facebook.com/West Bloomfield Schools. Continuing on through some stories here in the Oakland County area. If you are facing delinquent taxes owed to Oakland County based on your property taxes from your local community, the Oakland County Treasurer's Office is working with residents once again this year to help relieve some of those delinquent taxes and help set you up to avoid future issues in this regard. You can set up a confidential one-on-one call with a member of the Oakland County Treasurer's Office team today to get the ball moving on relieving delinquent taxes for 2021 or prior years before that at this time. Oakgov.com is the main website for the Oakland County government. You can also find more information, including multiple posts about this on the Oakland County government Facebook page, facebook.com/OakGov. And we've talked in the past to Robert Wittenberg, the Oakland County Treasurer, about these programs. It seems to be a very open and honest and caring approach that they take to having these taxes relieved. These property taxes go to support local programs in your local community, and so when they're approaching collecting these delinquent taxes, they're approaching from a space of trying to help these local communities continue to provide these programs and collect the funds that they need from the residents and their property taxes in order to continue that, and setting up an opportunity for people that are delinquent on their taxes to relieve those debts and also plan for the future so that, look, circumstances happen, life happens, sometimes you get behind on these payments, but there are strategies you can employ to avoid that in the future with those issues. Oakgov.com for more information. Navigate to the Treasurer's page or find even more resources and information in this regard and others from the Oakland County Treasurer's Department and other departments in our county government. Facebook.com/OakGov. Stay with us all throughout the week on The Splash Live for the latest news and information in Orchard Lake Village, West Bloomfield Township, Keego Harbor, and Sylvan Lake. Stay with us. The Splash Live will continue very soon.